As we enter the midway part of the EFL League One campaign, I thought I'd revisit my predictions that I made way back at the start of the season, back at the end of July. We'll take a look who I thought would go up, who I thought would go down, and it's a call coming at you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today we're looking back, way back at the start of the campaign as my early door predictions for 2021-2022 EFL League One campaign, and we'll take a look at it in just a second. People shout to my VR bloody P's. That's right, of course, they are my Patreons. Thank you for loving it. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe and get your bang up to all things Rovers related, League One related, world football related. We're going to all hit boys under one rooski. So let's jump in the vortex and, of course, recap those predictions. Of course, I made back at the 27th of July. Here they come. In the middle of the screen right here right now, you see the actual league table as things are, as they stand here on Christmas Eve, the 24th of December, and we're going to revisit it in double speed. My predictions as to who I thought would go up and who I thought would go down. Of course, later on today, we're going to re-predict it. We're having another go at it. Will it differ from, of course, what it is right now? Will it differ from what I predicted way back at the start of July? We'll, of course, answer those questions later. So here we go. We start in the middle of the pack here. Of course, that handsome guy behind me will dictate the play. But of course, I've used the stuff in the middle to compare my predictions. So into 13th, I went with Accrington. They're actually in 10th right now. Again, they're just grinding out the results. Of course, a lot of outsiders would think they are destined to go down, and I used to be of that mindset, but of course, Coleman has got these guys working a treat over in League One. They're 50-50. They're either brilliant or they're shit, but right here, right now, they're more brilliant than they are shit. So great for them. It's a 10th, and again, they could even start to dream of playoffs this season, so let's not rule them out. 13th was my pickaroo. 10th is where they start, so you know what, not too shabby. Fleetwood Town, of course, change of manager. Craney's coming in, of course, hoping to steer them towards 14th. They currently find themselves at 18th, so I'm pretty content with that prediction, and I think they will finish around about mid-table. So I think that's, you can hold true that in the grand scheme of things. So Fleetwood Town in 14th was my pick, currently find themselves in 18th. It's a 15th for the real one is Bolton Wanderers. What did I pick? That's the real deep lining question. Is he ever going to get to it? Right about now, I imagine. So we coming at you, Doncaster Rovers. They've had a shit show of a season. They're currently free falling to League Two. Goodness gracious me. So bad pick in my eyes. Of course, losing Darren Moore back end of last season didn't do them any good, as they were on the cusps, I think, of at least playoffs, if not automatics, last season. They were in that mix. But yeah, same can be said for Crewe. They've lost a lot of key players. Perry NG, Harry Pickering, guy up top, matey boy we were linked with, Kirk. Didn't he go to Charlton or Dale or something like that? They've lost a lot of personnel going down at this stage. It wasn't too long that they were in League Two anyway, so they need to have a miraculous back end of this to save their season. So Burton Albion, they're in 13th for the real one. I went with 17th, so that's not too shabby as well. Had a difficult season last season, but Jimmy Floyd came in, saved the day again, of course, as he's done in the past. And again, I thought they would kick on from that, but they've kind of they have kicked on a little bit. But again, I think 17th is where they'll probably end up once the likes of Lincoln City, the likes of maybe Fleetwood Town or such start to climb the table. Into 18th spot, we have Gillingham. They're currently found themselves in the 22nd. They could go down at the moment if things don't change for them. So not great. Again, they've lost key personnel in Tom Eaves. Didn't he play for them? Bradley Decarino over the course of the last 5 years or so. So it's slowly but surely grinding it out of them a little bit. And again, they need a little bit of fortune in the second part of the season to save their campaign. Plymouth Argyle currently find themselves in 5th, probably punching above their weight a little bit. I do anticipate them to have a struggle. They have lost their manager, who's gone over to Preston North End, and there was one stage of the season they were top of the table. Of course, that transition to Schumacher now is going to probably see them tumble down a few more spots. And again, it wasn't long ago that they were in League Two. So if they finished more towards 10th, I think they'll take that. But again, I think they want to hold on to the playoff hopes as long as they can. In the 20th, I had Cheltenham Town, who currently find themselves in 14th, doing all right for themselves. And again, they could struggle as the season grinds on a little bit. Yeah, they'll need a little bit more work to keep them afloat. Wimbledon, again, doing good in the past couple of games. Their form is good, and they're starting to climb the table a little bit. Again, I do have them going down in my early prediction, so that might have to eat my words a little bit when, of course, May comes back around. Yeah, not great to pick on those past two, even though they're doing all right now. Cambridge, again, I had them going down. Of course, they were on around 16th, and again, they could, once if Fleetwood or Lincoln City start to turn the screw a little bit, they could end up in a relegation battle, and that prediction might come true, and it might look like a bloody genius, of course, come the end of May. But right now, I look like a little bit of a tit, so we'll see about that. Into 23rd, I believe that's Shrewsbury Town. We'll confirm that in a second. They are currently find themselves in 20th, so that might come true. You got a little soft spot for them as well. There with Elliot Bennett there, knocking, trying to score create the bit of magic to keep them in the division. But I think they're going to have a tough old slog this season. So they're doing okay just about now, but they could go down. Of course, I think no questions here. I think I went with Morecambe, and again they had a great start to the season. They even beat Blackburn Rovers in the EFL Cup, but I do anticipate them to start to sink quickly because they were not long ago. They were always struggling in League Two. They were destined to be relegated, of course. And of course, losing the manager Adams to Bradford City at the start of the campaign didn't help them any good as well. So I do think 24th will come true at the end of the campaign, even the likes, which will give Doncaster and crew a bit of hope. In the 12th, I had Wycombe. Oh my gosh, looking all right, fool on that one. Of course, relegated last season from the Championship. I did think they would have a struggle to bounce back this time around, but they are bouncing back quite comfortably. In 4th, again, they could tail off a little bit and maybe end up towards 8th or something like that. But I think they've got enough in their locker right here, right now, to be in that playoff discussion for the majority of the remaining games of this season, as long as the season stays afloat. Into 11th, I have Bolton. Of course, they're in 15th, and again, chewed on this one a little bit. I thought Bolton could look at potentially back-to-back promotions, but I think that's long in the tooth now. I don't think that's got any steam. I think for them, they've just got to be patient on it and maybe just have a season here and then maybe look to get promoted in the next couple of seasons then. So just, yeah, I was a little bit ambitious on that. I think of Sheffield Wednesday in 10th. They're in 7th right now. Yeah, difficult one to call that. It's quite because it's hard. It is very, very hard when you look at the top end of the table now. They're 7th. They could easily fall into 10th, but they could easily grind up into 3rd or 4th. So, yeah, well, I think we're going to have to revisit that and, of course, take another hard look at it. But it's not out of the question yet. So we'll see. 9th is Wigan. Of course, they are within touch and distance of top spot right now, and they look one of the teams to beat. So I do look a little bit of a fool on that one. I didn't anticipate them to get into the playoffs. I think they would have had a transitional season there. So, yeah, I'm going to have to eat my words on that one. Into 8th spot, who did I have in 8th? Portsmouth. Portsmouth are in 8th right now, so it's pretty much on point. But I think they've hit a good patch right now. I think they could work their way into the top 7, top 6. And again, compete for playoffs again with Crowley's at long last. They had a real rough start, rough middle of the first chunk of the season. They've really kicked it on in the back end of this first half of the campaign, and they look like unstoppable right now. MK Dons, I think I'll make this prediction when Martin was still here, Russell Martin, but of course without Russell Martin, they've done okay for themselves as well, being in 9th. So 7th ain't too shabby. I don't think they'll get 7th, though. I think they'll be more 9th or 10th. I think there's too much more quality with the likes of Pompey, Wigan at the moment, so and Wycombe as well, who still could oust them. Into 6th, Lincoln City, who had a nightmare, an absolute shit show, of course. When they play off last season, they're more close to the bottom than they are to the top now. Yeah, bad call is that. And I'm going to definitely have to relook at that one. So let's pretend that that's just Men in Black, that sort of bitch. Forget I even said that one. So 6th place was Lincoln. Bad shout. Into 5th spot, I had Rotherham. Of course, Rotherham are on an unbeaten run, stretched for a long ass time. And I think right now it looks like it is automatics for Rotherham. I do anticipate them to be. I don't think they'll fall off the pace. I'm sure they'll hit a rough patch here, there, and everywhere. But I still think they'll be in that top 6. if not top 2 by the end of May. Into 4th, we have Ipswich just taken on McKenna as the manager. Of course, they had Paul Cook at the start of the season. I was actually very, very excited about Ipswich when, of course, they brought in Macaulay Bonne. Big fan of his. But Paul Cook, I don't know. I think the FA Cup knockout against Barrow was the straw that broke the camel's back. They were doing all right. Where are they? Into 11th. They were within touching distance of the playoffs. I'm sure they wanted better than that. Maybe the investment of Ipswich this season is warranted or demanded more than playoffs. So McKenna's got his work cut out for him in his first managerial job. But it's a good job for him to cut his teeth at. Of course, a lot of Ipswich fans were looking at Mowbray, but it was never going to happen at this stage anyway. Into 3rd, what are we looking at here? Maybe Sunderland, or I think I have Sunderland going up in the top 2. Who do I have? Must be Oxford, I think. Must be Oxford is my pick. I'm just trying to think who else. I'm missing one other. Oxford United into 3rd. Oh, yes, I know who I went with second. Oh, what a tit I was. Oxford United in 3rd. You know what? That's not too bad. They're in 6th right now. They'll be in that playoff hunt at the end of the season. Of course, Carl Robinson's been there for a lifetime now, and I think he's looking for that next step. And you know what? It might come and bite our ass later if Mowbray doesn't get a new deal at the end of the season. We might end up, because we always link with him. I don't know why. It's a second half. Charlton, of course, who are climbing. They started with Atkins. Of course, they ended the last season with Atkins, and they were doing fantastic stuff. So I went with that momentum, but that momentum wasn't there with Atkins. And the momentum is there now with Jackson. Johnny Jackson, of course, hoping to steer them towards that. I think they might have a bit of a bold shout that, but I do think they could be in that top 7 race at the end of the season. And of course, number 1 spot will be Sunderland. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. And again, they're in 3rd right now, and again, they could be in that top 2. I think number 1 spot will be out of the reach there. I think Rotherham have got that one sewn up for the most part. But it's going to be a tight old race. It really is going to be an interesting race as to who will be in that top 2, who will be in the playoffs, and of course who will go down. Could we lose a big boy at the bottom end of the table there? The real world says, who is a big boy? Lincoln City, would they, if they got sucked into that? What about, of course, could we see a surprise package like Plymouth hold their own and, of course, get back into the Championship? That'd be an absolutely fantastic story if that was the case. Anyway, that's it, my friends. Be sure to give the video some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. Of course, check me out. Of course, later on today when we re-predict this season as to see who will go up, who will go down from, of course, the midway stage. But until then, guys, that's it. Smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. See you soon for the next one, of course, whenever that is. Until then, dudes, we're done.